Hello and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we're going to be talking all things about Oxford. As you've seen in the thumbnail and the title already, I just got into Oxford. It's absolutely insane. Well, not really got in technically. I mean, there's still an offer, but essentially we do indeed have an offer from Oxford, which we can accept in the future to go to read philosophy and theology at Regent's Park. Now, essentially in this video, we're not really going to be talking about how to get into Oxford, but rather we're going to be talking more so about just kind of the experience of kind of the day of getting those admission results, because I think that was really nerve-wracking and quite an interesting situation. We're going to be talking a bit about, of course, the situation when we're interacting with Oxford, the impacts that will have on this YouTube channel, how it will have impact on me, and I think that there's a lot of different things that we can go over, which is of note. Now, if you want me to give you some tips and ideas about how to get into Oxford, let me know in the comments below. I'll definitely like to make, and I'll happily make a series about that, or a discussion about that on our kind of new podcast, or our new kind of series called Civilian's Handbook. I'm still thinking about what we call that, but essentially I would happily make kind of a session about that on that series. But that's definitely not what we're trying or planning to do in this video. We're just going to be talking a bit about the situation, and as I've said, discuss a bit about kind of the reception of the offer and also what it means for this college going forward, or this channel going forward. Now, but before we talk about that, I'd like to make it very clear that just for those who are in US, that the offers that you get in UK are very different from the offers you get in US. In US, you get things called unconditional offers, which is basically they send you an offer unless something really bad happens to your grades, that you drop from an A student to a C student, you'll generally get in. There's no like specific offer that you must reach in order for you to get to the university, and as a result, it's normally called an unconditional offer, because once you get the result, you're technically, or you're most likely already into the university as long as you accept it. On the UK, however, there's a thing called a conditional offer, which means that you do get the offer, but you only get that place when you do indeed get all those grades. So for me, I got an AAA offer, which means I have to get AAA for 3 of my 4 A levels. I currently do philosophy, not necessarily philosophy, religious studies. I do math, Spanish, and history. So as long as I get 3 A's in that, I'll get in. Some other of my friends have A-star AA offers, which means they have to get A-star in one and an A and A in the other. So the systems of UK and US are very different, and of course vary from university to university. However, generally as a whole, that is how it is, and it just kind of shows you that although I do get an offer, you don't get in until you actually meet that offer. So there is indeed that factor there as well, which means, of course, I'll be working very, very hard in the next few months and few weeks in order to reach those offers, in order to get to Oxford, because I think that Oxford is just an experience which will be so beneficial for myself. Now, I think that leads us perfectly on to kind of the situation about how we necessarily got the offer, because that was actually a very, very crazy story. Now, of course, I was on the day we were in Hong Kong time. That means we're earlier than UK time. So when they say the results will come out on Tuesday, I was woken up in Tuesday. I was awake in Tuesday at school before it was even Tuesday in UK time. So I have almost an 8-hour kind of time advantage, not necessarily time advantage, but time earliness, where I was up awake for 8 hours before they actually started waking up. So there will be that lag as well, which I'm not sure whether that was a good thing or not, but it definitely made me way more nervous. One thing that Oxford does really well is that they say they give out their offers very early in the morning to kind of save people from kind of waking up and just being so nervous the entire day. They get their offers early so they understand when they get it, so they don't have that feeling of dread. However, for me, being in Hong Kong, I was awake for like 10. I got the offer at around 5:30 p.m. That means I was up for, well, almost 12 hours before that offer already. I wake up at 6:30 going to school, so I was kind of nervous for like 11 hours before that. So it was absolutely insane. I was really nervous in classes. I was really worried. Did that kind of affect my performance during the day? I have to admit it did a bit. I did have 2 tests in the morning. I had a philosophy test in that morning, and also I had a math test, which was absolutely crazy. I knew nothing about the integration on that test, I have to admit. I knew bits and pieces of it, but I didn't have the full picture. But essentially, it is what it is, I suppose. I was really nervous at that time. Not to use it as an excuse at all, but I was really nervous that day. It was really, really crazy. I had football later on that day, and I was a bit tentative. I was a bit worried during that football because I wasn't really sure exactly when it came out. I didn't have an exact time, so I was always like looking at my watch. I'm like, oh, is the offer coming out? I had my phone next to the goalpost because I'm a goalkeeper, so I was able to check it a bit. Is it going to come out? Is it going to come out? Is that UCAS your UCAS offer or your UCAS track has changed thing. Did that come out? I was always keeping my mind on that. So I was a bit distracted the whole day, I have to admit. And then the offer came out and I was like, oh my gosh, something's gonna happen. But like always, school Wi-Fi wasn't working very well, so I was like, okay, let's wait for a bit more. I had to go onto my phone instead of using the Wi-Fi with my slow data, going through the procedure slowly. And then I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually insane. And my friends were watching there as well. Two of my quite close friends in the school, two lads there who also playing football with me, looked at that and they're like, oh my gosh, you got in Oxford. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually insane. Friend, of course it's in school, so we don't have the bubbly, so he poured his coffee over my head, and luckily it was cold coffee, so I didn't get burnt. But that was actually insane. I was really happy at that, and I don't know how to express it, but of course I was really happy with the entire situation. Now I don't want to sound so self-centered, just talk about kind of me, how happy I was getting at Oxford, but of course that was kind of a stage which I was like, oh, that's actually insane. But of course time slows down a bit more now after like kind of like 3-4 days. Not 4 days, what I'm on about, but after like 2-3 days, I've been able to think a bit more about it and really think, well, what actually does this have to do with kind of the situation? What actually does that have to do with this channel going forward? And I think that essentially this is really going to be a step forward in the channel, not only about the content, the quality of the content I make, but also the depth of the quality of the content I make. The discussions should get deeper, more profound, and more interesting for you, because not only would I be discussing with Warren, hopefully being a tutorial system in Oxford, I'll be able to interact within a more intimate but deeper, kind of more profound discussion with different people who are really smart like me and Warren. Not to say we are really smart, but of course like-minded people as well. I'll be able to interact with them and have more different opinions on this channel, which is ultimately the goal of the channel, to show you different opinions, show you different ideas. Not necessarily that you agree with them and always have to accept them, but rather just that you kind of find them interesting and something that challenges your thought, which I think is the more important thing. And I've always followed a guy called Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic, another YouTuber in kind of this field of apologetics philosophy. Of course, he's an agnostic or atheist. I'm not exactly sure where he lies. But in that situation, I think that we've seen his development over the past 3-4 years on his content, which made it deeper, more interesting, more challenging, intellectually stimulating. And I definitely found that trend. And hopefully he goes to Oxford studying that philosophy and theology. Hopefully me going to Oxford hopefully will have that similar impact. So that's something, fingers crossed, will help the content on this channel develop and also help us move forward together, searching for the truth and developing our interaction with the world. So hope you've enjoyed this short video. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Thank you guys so much for the support. We also just hit 500 subscribers on the same day that I got that Oxford offer, which shows that we are indeed moving in the right direction. I would never have thought we would have got anywhere near 500 subscribers, but we have. I would like to thank you all so much for the support, the trust that you've shown in me throughout the years. It really means a lot to me. It really helped this channel grow. Without your help, without your support, without your motivation, I'll definitely not have made so many content interacting with Zach, interacting with Warren for you guys, and that's really prepared and put me in really good stead for this Oxford situation, which means a lot of this cast is really down to your support and like love and care. So I really want to thank you guys so much for helping me in the last few years, and it really is a large thank you for you guys for this to be possible. So before we end this video, I'd like to remind that if you enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe. And also, if you are thinking about applying to Oxford next year or anything in the near future, feel free to ask me to make a guide about how you get into Oxford. Not necessarily just about how you get into Oxford, but also I think the tips which apply to how you get into Oxford are just generally very good tips for everything else you do in your life as well. Because at the end of the day, I don't think getting Oxford is like a one one solution suits all situation. It's more so, it is a way you live. It's a way, it's an intellectual life that you take, a challenge that you accept, a burden you take, and that burden leads you to success. And there is indeed that relationship, which is very important. I think very helpful. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want that video, the things I've been alluding to, then feel free to let me know. I'll happily make a video for that for you guys. Stay safe, my friends. See you soon. Thanks for watching. And like always, have a great one. I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. I'll see you in the next one.